All right, so extensor hallucis longus is another muscle that I honestly believe goes under the radar. Once again, it's really important because just its relationship in terms of what it can do for the foot. Yes, we've got our tibialis anterior, and that is an enormously important muscle. We've got extensor digitorum longus. Then in between the peroneus tertius and that extensor digitorum longus, we've got our extensor hallucis. So it sits in there, little trigger point through there, can refer over to the top of the big toe or even into the big toe for that matter. So once again, it's one of those muscles, like I said, it goes under the radar. So find your tibialis anterior. If you roll off anterior, you'll be on extensor digitorum longus, which is coming through here. Roll off that, and you'll just find in that little portion in there, that is our extensor hallucis longus. Come a little bit further, peroneus tertius, and come a little bit further there, then you've got your peroneal brevis and longus that comes all the way down here. Okay, so tibialis anterior, extensor digitorum longus, extensor hallucis tucks in there, peroneus tertius, extensor hallucis longus is the one. So once again, I'm going to use a loose fist here. Come down, I'm going to use the first and the second knuckle if you like. That's going to be my go-to. Obviously I'm going to roll the leg over a little bit so I've got good access to it. Pressing down and then just working that short little bit of tissue in between, as I said, extensor digitorum longus and peroneus tertius, where that hallucis longus sits in there. How's that there, Dan? Yep. So it's a cracking little trigger point. Once again, it's you can get the referral into the big toe, you can get the referral basically over the front of the ankle, even sometimes you can get the referral down, believe it or not, into the medial arch. But it varies from person to person. But it is an absolute cracking of a muscle. So once again, just sinking in, working along, making sure that that's okay, that pressure's okay. Yeah. Yep, no tears. You sure? Okay, alrighty. But I mean, look, this isn't a muscle you're not going to work in isolation, because obviously if you're dealing with, especially with a lot of anterior ankle issues, God forbid they've had a lateral ankle sprain, this is an absolute, so you'd be working this with peroneus tertius, you definitely with extensor dig and tibialis anterior, so you just put that in your toolbox, but just don't miss it, because it just sits in there. It's got this cracking little trigger point right through there, as does peroneus tertius as well. So add it into your toolbox when you're working your tibialis anterior, extensor dig, extensor hallucis, peroneus tertius, especially for lateral ankle sprains. It's an absolute go-to, obviously, as you work your peroneals, and obviously anyone that has any potential injuries or pain in and around the ankle as well, okay? And that goes for anyone that's doing tendon rehab work, whatever the case may be, extensor hallucis longus.